And now it's time for Leadership of the Leaf with Dice and Austin. Let's jump in with a cut and a light.
And welcome to another episode of Leadership, Austin.
And I'm Dice.
All right, and today we're going to talk about something that's a little bit strange, but it is the health benefits of smoking cigars.
Wait, there's a chance for these things to be healthy?
Sure. Why not? But
All
first, let's throw out a disclaimer. We are not physicians, and nothing stated here should be considered medical advice. Please see your own physician for individual questions regarding your own health and habits. All right, now that we got that legality out of the way, let's talk about the healthy side of cigars. It's not something that a lot of people associate cigars with.
Yeah, I get constant argument from the wife about the health benefits of a cigar. So this is perfect. This is kind of personal and also kind of by request.
Yeah, a little bit. Of course, I am currently smoking a cigar, as we always do here. I am smoking the Undercrown Dogma Maduro 2021 year. What about you, sir?
I got the CAO Amazon Basic with that little rope, the tobacco rope.
Yeah, the tobacco rope band that you get to smoke right through. That's a very good cigar. I love that one.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's see how this works.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's just jump in. So, cigars, right? We all know that a good cigar tradition, which we've spoken about in the past, can be almost like a meditative state, right?
Yeah. Break from the real world.
Right, a break from the real world. Well, if you count that, you could say that is a mental health benefit, allowing your mind to rest, reset, let your subconscious work on a few problems while you're kind of checked out, and just give you a chance to kind of think about the world, think about whatever you have on your plate.
Yeah, it depends on how you smoke. Most people smoke it in a long draw where you have to inhale with the cigar and then exhale the smoke through your mouth. So it's kind of like a meditative flow of oxygen. Inhale with the mouth, exhale through the nose. That type deal. I'm more of a quick puffer, but I mean, either way, I'm still in that meditative state. I'm just taking a break from reality. Once I light this cigar up, that wife, don't talk to me right now.
Yeah, and it's better than checking out in front of the TV, right? Because you don't have that blue light from the TV. You don't have a screen in front of your face the whole time. You're literally just out. Whether it's now everybody, will get some flack. I only smoke in cigar lounges. Got it. I understand. So maybe you're not always like that, but you're still getting a chance to kind of reconnect with yourself and check in with yourself and make sure you're doing okay, which is actually a huge benefit to your mental health, which, as the pandemic in the last couple of years has proven, is a huge issue in today's world.
Even going to a cigar lounge, you're still brothers and sisters of the leaf. So everyone is kind of, even if they don't want to be, they're kind of on the same page or the same leaf, so to speak. So, I mean, it's one of those,
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's mental health aspects. While they're not always visible from the outside, I would say that is a huge part of cigar smoking. But going into this, I did do a little bit of research on this, and I found out that tobacco. Now this is, this is from an FDA paper. I got this from an FDA paper, so don't murder me. But tobacco is actually believed to aid in controlling your weight. That's why, you see some of these guys. I know a lot of these guys that run on caffeine and nicotine, and they're like skinny as a rail. Well, their metabolism, their body never slows down from all that stuff. So it can be helpful in that aspect.
Well, I do know my wife was a cigarette smoker, so I don't hold that against her. But there was always a stipulation of when she was going to quit or when she decided to quit, that I'm going to gain so much weight when I stop smoking.
Right.
And I've heard her mother say the same thing. So I can kind of understand that. I haven't did any research pertaining toward that, but I have lived it in real life. And okay. But I mean, if you work out and eat sensibly.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, I've seen that a couple times where people have stopped smoking and they end up kind of ballooning up. I don't want to say ballooning up like a bad thing. They'll gain, depending on the person and their lifestyle, they will gain a few pounds here or there.
Yeah, upon doing a little bit of research, I have read this. I don't quite understand everything that I read, but I would advise everyone to give it a good read. It seems to be the basis for a lot of the FDA and all the other research for tobacco use is monograph number 9. And just a quick little rundown of what it's saying in monograph number 9. It is talking about tobacco use. And when it's talking about tobacco use, it's not referring to premium cigars. It's referring more to tobacco use as a whole. And when it talks about premium cigars, it's actually a less than 2% for cancer, causing cancer. Less than 2%. FDA and anyone that's a tobacco hater is not going to look at it in that 2%. They're just going to group everything together. So a lot of the haters that come out there, I do encourage them to read monograph number 9, and then you can talk to me about cancer-causing agents in a cigar.
I will say this is premium cigars we're talking about, right? Not the Swisher Sweets, the gas stations, the Black and Milds, the stuff like that. These are premium cigars we're talking about when he's talking about that 2%.
Correct. By all means, I'm not saying that cigars are not cancer-causing. I'm not saying that. Don't send me hate mail. I'm just saying the percentages of the research that was done for premium cigars is referring to 2% for premium cigars. Now, everyone has to always outweigh their pros and cons of what they decide to do with their vices in life. I mean, that goes with everything, even to driving a car fast, to drinking alcohol, to how much sugar intake you want to take in. So you do you outweigh your choices there, and I'm just going to smoke my cigar and meditate on it.
Absolutely. And it kind of goes back to the old adage, everything in moderation is pretty much the key to life a little bit, and I would say. But I did look at that FDA study. FDA looked at 22 studies that have been conducted since the 1960s. And they put this paper out back in 2015, I think, is what I was remembering.
Yes.
And basically what they did is they studied men who were not prior cigarette or pipe smokers. And they found that up to 2 cigars per day, while not completely safe, this is from the FDA paper, is neither associated with significantly increased risk for death from all causes nor smoking related cancers. Now, what that means is significantly increased risk. There is a increased risk, but the chances are not so much so like if you pick up cigarette smoking, your chances of getting cancer are going to be significantly higher than if you are obviously not a cigar or a cigarette smoker. But if you just decided to one day pick up cigar smoking and you smoke two a day, your chances of cancer causing getting cancer are not significantly increased for that risk. But this all leads to how much exposure you have. Again, moderation is key. If you're smoking 10 cigars a day, well, you might have an insignificantly increased risk. I'm just saying.
All right. There's a fun little fact I'm going to share with you at the end, near the end of the cigar segment, about smoking 10 to 12 cigars a day. But I'll save it for near the end because I kind of like it.
All right. Sounds good. But I mean, the whole thing, alcohol consumption is usually...
Whoa. You said alcohol consumption.
Is usually associated with cigar consumption. Not all
what
the time.
What alcohol are you consuming?
Well, I'm just so tickled that you asked me. You are a beautiful soul. I am currently drinking Lead Slingers bourbon whiskey. Lead Slingers is a veteran-owned company, for those who don't know.
All right.
It's distilled out in Oklahoma, and I thoroughly enjoy it. What about you, good sir? What are you sipping on? Because you sent me a text before the show, and you said mixed drink. So I assume it's Hennessy and...
Oh, I'm going with the good old-fashioned sidecar, sir. Sidecar.
I knew it. I knew it. But as always, we enjoy everything in moderation here on Leadership of the Leaf because that's what we are supposed to do.
Well, yeah.
According to our wives, right?
Yeah, smoke and drink responsibly.
Please.
Suckers.
So I'm getting into the second third of this cigar, man. And I gotta tell you, I'm getting some dark chocolate and espresso, maybe.
That's good. I mean, it is a Maduro, so it makes sense to me. Let's see.
A little bit of pepper.
Just right there on the palate.
Yeah, just right there, a little on the back end, a little bit. It's good though. This is a very good cigar.
Well, this is this is my first time to Amazon Basin, and I'm getting nice cocoa.
Mm.
And there's some leather there, but the initial was kind of what did I say, grassy?
Yeah, that's what you said on the cold draw.
Well, it's definitely doesn't really have a grassy on my palate now. It's more of a cocoa mixed with a leather, and I'm loving it. I'm still looking forward to the tobacco rope.
So something I always found interesting about that cigar. Just a side note. Back before chocolate was everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It was a delicacy in the Amazon.
Oh.
So I think it's awesome that you get that chocolate note from the Amazon basin. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, that adds up.
Hey. All right. So, obviously, we're two guys talking. We're not doctors by any means, shape, form. Don't claim to be. Don't ever claim to be. I'm not even Dr. J. I can't even be, or I'm not even that good with basketball. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not there, but, I have used the FDA survey on my wife and said, hey, look, I could smoke up to 2 cigars a day. And the risk for me contracting cancer is not significantly increased versus anybody who vapes, anybody who smokes cigarettes, anybody who smokes pipes, all of these things. And really it's my time to I use it to get away from my responsibilities after I've done everything. That this is my time at the end of the day in the evening to come out on my back patio. Let's just have a chat. That's what we love to do. That's why we started this podcast. And just kind of relax and chill. And I think that's the other cool thing about cigars and their health benefits, if you will, that social aspect of it too. You kind of get advices from all walks of life.
Yeah, there was a time where I don't know. I guess I was just angry or just a grumpy guy. I don't know. But the wife was like, "Jesus Christ, will you just go out and enjoy a nice cigar and then come back in or something?" Jesus Christ! I was like, "Oh, no, all right." And of course, it was like a petite Corona or something. It was something small. And I sat out and I enjoyed it. I think I actually had a beer with it, so it wasn't like too extravagant, but it was enough just to relax me from. I guess I had a bad work week or something, and I just come back in, and she was like, "Oh, there's the dice I know."
Yeah. I've had those. Everyone has those bad days, those bad weeks, those bad whatevers. And it's just something to sit there and just go. You know what? I'm just gonna take a break for an hour. Just give me an hour or two. Let me kind of collect myself, and I'll come back in, and I'll be better.
Yeah. Let me just enjoy this smoke without some nagging. God, Jesus, woman.
Yeah, and everybody has everything different. So, I mean, those are the basic health benefits that doing the research by all means. Those are the basic health benefits of cigars that I have found.
Okay. Well, I had some fun facts I was going to share with you. Are you ready for them?
I love fun facts.
All right. These fun facts I'm willing to share. I did a little research to make sure that I wasn't just talking out my ass. So, one of the prolific cigar smokers that everyone should know is Mr. George Burns. Not the fact he played God in a lot of pictures, but I think it's kind of ironic that God was smoking cigars. But one of one of his famous quotes that I had to actually like look into just to make sure that it wasn't just something he was saying to be funny because he's a comedian. He said, "If I taken my doctor's advice and quit smoking cigars when he advised me to, I wouldn't have lived to go to his funeral." so, George Burns lived until he was 98 years old.
That sounds like a ripe old age to me.
He smoked over 10 cigars a day. 10 cigars a day. And he outlived 2 of his doctors.
Dang.
So I'm like, what the?
Well, you know, you hear these stories about people. Who was it? Was it there's a guy? Oh, was he? He was a war vet I think he was a Tuskegee Airman.
Yes, sir. That's the second one. You're right on point.
Okay. He lived to be 112, if I remember right.
112, 230 days. He's the oldest man in the United States before he died. As of right now, he's the oldest in the United States.
Yeah.
112, 230 days.
I mean, good Lord. That, to me, that man is a certified badass motherfucker. Just certified. All day, every day.
I'm just going to quote what he told Cigar Aficionado, because I actually have the magazine that he was in when Cigar Aficionado interviewed him. He said,
I can't wait to hear this.
"I smoked 12 a day. When he was 109 years old, he smoked 12 a day. But I don't inhale them. It's a good taste. Let your lungs stay clean." His words. His words. At that time, he was 109, smoking cigars, talking about keeping his lungs clean, which lets everyone know he doesn't inhale them. He lived to 112, and he smoked 12 cigars a day, sitting on his front porch, normally drinking whiskey. Badass.
I will, if I can live to be that old, if you and me can live to be that old and be neighbors, I would love, that'd be my dream right there. Just
I would have to. I'd get a rocking chair.
And we would sit on a porch, sit like you have a bottle of Hennessy, I have a bottle of whiskey, and we just antagonize people as they walk past.
I would have to put my Hennessy in a jug just to fit right.
I don't even care. I would do whatever. I would get a jug marked with 3 X's on the side. I don't even care at that point. I don't even care.
I'm 109 years old. Fuck you. Give me my cigar.
You know what my grandfather said before he passed?
What's
I love
that?
this about this man. My grandfather was a U.S. Navy veteran, lived through Halsey's Typhoon, rescued people in Halsey's Typhoon in World War II. Right? If you don't know, look up Halsey's Typhoon. Admiral Halsey was an idiot, but that's a story for another time. But you know what he said to a waitress? He goes into this restaurant. He's surrounded by his 3 kids and like 15 grandkids, and he looks at the waitress and goes, "I think for dinner I want the chocolate cake." She goes, "Sir, don't you want dinner first?" He goes, "I don't give a damn if I have dinner first. I'm not." At the time he was 82. He's like, "I'm 82 years old and I lived through a world war. I want my dessert first, damn it." And I just loved that man. He was my favorite.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, all of these people. Obviously, I will say that the guy Richard Overton, that's his name, did say, I will point this out, do not inhale cigar smoke. Do not inhale cigar smoke. I can't put that out there enough, because I've heard people and they're like, "I inhale the cigar smoke." You're like, Jesus. You sound like it, bud.
There's a friend of mine at work. He's trying his best to get me to go play golf. And he said, "You can bring your little cigars." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not a golfer, but I gladly smoke some cigars." And then he said, "I tried smoking a cigar before and I just turned green." And yeah, you're bound to turn green because you're smoking it wrong. That's bottom line, is he was smoking the cigars wrong. But there's no telling him, right? He's a cigar, he's a golf pro, right?
Yeah, he's golf pro. He's got to do it. But so the overall view is You don't inhale the cigars. Use it as a meditative state, a social benefit state. Work on the problems of the day. You know, you got that release valve, so to speak, if you're smoking socially with somebody else. Or if you're not, you're able to just kind of relax and kind of let yourself digest the problems of the day and the issues. And that can be a health benefit in and of itself. According to the FDA study, they did not find a significant cancer-causing increase of 2 cigars a day. Now, that's somebody who does not smoke pipe or cigarettes as well. But that's it for our cigar segment. And after this break, we're going to get into the leadership segment, which is the 7 common styles of leadership.
Yeah, which I kind of enjoy because you can compare these to people you actually know, and then you'd be like, I know what kind of leader you are.
That's also fun to see what leadership style you are by nature.
Yeah, we'll discuss it all after the break.
Yep. Don't forget, we need to follow the podcast so we know when new episodes drop.
All right. Well, welcome back. We discussed some health benefits, but now we're going to talk about the leadership portion. And contrary to popular belief, a leader has nothing to do with the stature of hierarchy. It's more about developing a positive attitude and transmitting it to others to encourage them to reach a common goal.
That is very interesting to me because most people will say that I would say, if you're an underling and you're looking up and you have a boss, there's a problem that you see within your organization, your team, your company, whatever, you're going to blame that on the boss. He doesn't structure us right. He does not do this, that, or the other thing right. And I don't believe that's true. I think it's how you come across and what you have to lead.
Yeah, definitely.
So the seven styles of leadership, common, very common styles. These are the most common. I'd say everybody would fit into at least 1 to 2 of these. You may kind of flip-flop between 2. I know that I fit into a couple of these, and as I have grown in my leadership training and matured in my leadership styles, I am able to flip between them a lot easier than I was when I was first starting out.
True. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And after we discuss them, we'll bring that back around. We'll come full circle.
All right. So the first one is the autocratic. Now that's a fancy word of saying, do as I say. Do it. I don't care. I'm in command. I'm in control. I make all the decisions. I don't care what you have to say. Do what I say. And do it how I say to do it. Usually these are, I would say, younger people.
Yeah, younger people that just get that first taste of I'm the one in charge.
Right. That's usually because they are insecure within their own leadership skills.
Right. They always think they know more than everyone else.
Right.
It's just I'm God.
Right. Now, none of these leadership styles should be discounted in any way, shape, or form. They all have their places and their times and their uses, right? If you like in this autocratic style, if you think about, if anyone's ever seen the movie Full Metal Jacket, right? The drill sergeant.
Good movie.
R. Lee Ermey, right?
Yeah.
He's, who the fuck said that? You will choke yourself.
Yeah.
Don't bring my hand to your throat. You bring your throat to my hand. That's your autocratic, right?
Yes.
So that is a drill sergeant type mentality. Now these are usually good if you have a young team, if it's an emergency, if there's a fire in the building. I really don't have time to sit there and go, hey, what does everyone think we should do about this fire? I will scream and holler until I get somebody to get me 911, get me a fire extinguisher, and help me put this damn fire out.
Well, it's usually commands that are quick, concise, and direct.
Mm-hmm.
You go get the fire extinguisher. You call 911. You grab all the women and children and get them out of here.
Go down the stairs. Don't use the elevator, idiot.
Is that why they put those signs there?
Yeah, that's usually why I put the signs there. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten CPR certified every year for the last 13 years, and it's always the same thing. You go get the AED. You call 911. Get me a whatever get me a pillow. Elevate the legs.
AED. Yeah, and you always have to like directly point to someone. You always have to make sure that whoever knows you are talking to them. Yeah. So that's pretty much, do as I say. That's definitely 100% autocratic, 100% through and through.
Yeah. So that's the first style. The next one would be authoritative.
Well, that sounds like it could be almost autocratic.
It could be, but it's not quite, right? So I think this is more along the visionary lines, right? Like if you think of, my wife is a Disney fanatic. I watch all the Disney movies. I have a 4-year-old. I watch Disney movies, right? These are the villains, right? Fools! I am going to be king. Right. There, like there's going to be a king. I'm going to do it. They have a vision. They're going to tell that team, hey, this is my vision. And then they're going to basically push that team to make that vision happen. It's not clear, concise directions. It's here's where we're going. Get there.
Villains, the example of using villains, it reminds me, I don't know if anyone saw Austin Powers, when he had Austin Powers like tied up or something, and he was going to give him to the sharks. I can't remember exactly how it was, but his son was like, give me the gun. I'll shoot him right now. But also, Dr. Evil was like, no, let me explain everything. He was like, why would you explain it? Don't explain it. Just give me the gun. We'll shoot him now. And it's like, no, I have to explain. And he goes through this whole long elaboration of what he's going to do. It's like he's telling everyone his vision, his goals, what he's trying to do. And he leaves it for his henchmen or whatever to carry out those orders. Then, of course, Austin Powers get out of the trap, and the hero wins and all that type of stuff. But his son was right there on point. Like, no, give me. I'll shoot him now. He's done.
Yeah, we could be done with this. No, I got a vision of how I want to do this.
Yeah,
I must prove I'm better than he is.
Like, the old Batman movies. I got them all tied up.
And let me start monologuing. Like explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah,
but the villain has all the authority there. He's letting out. He's giving everyone his vision, and that's authoritative.
Yep, 100%. So those are two kind of similar. If you fall into these, not bad. There's nothing wrong with being authoritative. Again, if you have a young team that's very inexperienced, it may be good to explain, hey, this is where we're going. Now let's go forth and conquer. Hey, what do you guys kind of think? Oh, you think this, you think that, all right, kind of what, yep, those are great ideas, but that's not how we're going to do it. We're going to do this. I'm going to put him in a cage with lava with one inept guard, and he's going to escape because I'm in a monologue.
We need to perform this task, build this widget for these reasons. And all the great ideas, but this is the way we're going to do it because this is how we have to achieve the goal. And this is the reason why.
Yep.
So that takes it away from the villain aspect.
Yeah. So those are the first two. So then the next one would be what's called pace setting, right? Do as I do. Usually this is something where it's like, hey, I'm going to show you a process of how to build a widget. Do everything that I do, right? I kind of liken this to those exercise videos when they're telling you how to do a push-up or something. And then they're like, do what I do. Now take your arms and put them at shoulder width apart and then go down. And It's great.
Yeah.
It's very effective to get things accomplished. But if you do it for a long period of time, you start feeling like they think you're an idiot.
Yes. I utilize this tactic when I'm training, like someone that's willing to learn. They got to show the initiative and wanting to learn.
Right.
So I will show you how to produce a widget the right way, by the book, exactly how it's supposed to be done. And once you master how you can do the widget exactly how it's supposed to be done, then later on, maybe we can learn some shortcuts, some tricks of the trade. I share some wisdom that I learned over time of building the same widget. But at first, I need you to learn how to do it properly the first time, just like your instructional videos. Just, like learning a new game, learning how to play chess. Right now, we're just going to focus on how each piece moves, some of the rules of the game, and then we'll play later, which allows you to, put your own little twist and spin on it, as long as you know the proper steps and procedures first.
Yeah. If you're a leader who uses this style, that's great in short periods, because if you use this for too long, you're going to cause burnout in your people, because your people are going to start thinking you are basically talking down to them. You're condescending them, right? Because you're going to sit there and basically micromanage everything that they do.
You don't need to explain to me how the screwdriver works. You don't need to explain to me how to build a box. We did that. I got that. Let's go. Like your GPS. Sometimes they tell you how to leave your neighborhood before you get on the highway. Like, come on, guy. I wish there was a skip button for that. I know how to get to the highway.
Right.
I just don't know how to get to Phoenix.
I'm gonna show my age. It's those old MapQuest directions where the first 20 steps were how to get to the highway, and you're like, I don't need that page. And you just ignore that page and you print the rest of them out.
The first page just killed the tree.
Yeah, you just killed the tree for no reason. Killed a tree, how to get to the highway. Got it. Follow this road for 0.1 miles to get out of your neighborhood. No shit, Sherlock. I do this every day. So that would be the pace setting, right? Do as I do. So the very next one, and this one is, I will be 100% honest. I am not as good at this one. It is opposite of how I am as a person anyways, but it's the democratic style of leadership, right? You're the leader and you come in and it's, hey guys, here's the goal. Now let's all come together and brainstorm ideas, and let's figure out how everybody wants to do it. Everybody gets an input on this, and then we'll decide on how to go forward. It's really good. It is a good style of leadership if you're working with an experienced team.
Yes, I generally, if I use a democratic approach in the leadership aspect, is normally to do with subpar tasks. Something that we need to get done, but it's not a uber priority. It's just, I kind of want to give the junior group a feel of making decisions.
Right.
Kind of like the authoritative, where you're like, those are all good ideas, but we're going to do it my way. This is all good ideas, and we're going to try yours this time, little Billy.
Yeah, we're going to vote on which one you guys want to do the most. Kind of allows people to grow, develop, and be treated like adults. Hey, what do you guys think how we should do this? So this one, allows for that creativity. It allows for people to grow and to develop. If you're trying to develop them on trying to be a team and get them a little bit more experienced, it's that majority rule. Hey, show of hands for pineapple on pizza. All right, show of hands for no pineapple on pizza. All right, majority has it. Pineapple on pizza sucks. We're going to go forth and conquer. I'm going to get hate mail for that one. I guarantee it.
Well, I have a 14-year-old. She loves pineapple on pizza.
Gross.
We normally buy 2.
I stand by what I say, people. Send me all the hate mail. I don't care.
So just get 2 like I do. Just buy 2.
Yeah.
Hate mail. Yeah. Hate mail for the pineapple, huh?
Hey, I'm waiting for it. So the democratic is pretty much self-explanatory. It's really good if you're trying to develop people. If you have an experienced people or you have a young core of people and you're trying to solve, if you're trying to be innovative. I like this one for innovation, right? Hey guys, here's how we've always done this process. and it works okay. What do you guys think would work better? Boom. You have creativity, you get innovation, you get all of these things that you don't get under the old other styles of leadership. Hey, what do you guys think? Maybe they come with something like totally new that you've never even tried. And you're like, oh, that is a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but that's a great idea. Let's go forth and try that, and we'll go from there.
Let's give it a roll. You might learn something new. Who knows?
Who knows? So that's I like that democratic one. Next one up from that one, or the next style is would be coaching, right?
Okay.
I like the coaching style, right? So it's somebody who's trying to grow and develop. It's similar to authoritative, right? You're trying to or pace setting. You're trying to develop somebody, but this is somebody who already has kind of some knowledge of how to play the game, how to produce the widget, how the process works, and you can kind of go, hey, let's learn some of those tricks of the trade. Hey, let's learn some of those shortcuts. Hey, have you considered doing it this way?
Yeah, a lot of times I look at this one like a teacher asking a student like a question, and he kind of he was in the right area for the answer, but the teacher like, have you really? What about this? And then the kid is like, oh yeah, and this and this and this. Be like, oh, there you go. You're in the right direction now. You just give them a little nudge to push them in the right direction, kind of like feeding them to make their own decisions.
Yeah. I know when I was an instructor, I use this one quite a bit because I would give people a problem, a scenario. I say, hey, here's your scenario. What do you do? And they would, oh, well, I would do this, this, and this. All right, that's great. So what if you do all that stuff, but you don't fix the problem? Why not? Well, and then they start kind of thinking of it, and they, hey, well, what did you look at? Did you consider, stuff like that? In this leadership style, you don't really give a whole lot of direction. You kind of give them an end goal, but no direction of how to get there. This one's kind of nice in that sense that that people are treated like adults.
Yes.
You see those team members as, hey, you guys have talent. You're undeveloped, but you have talent. Let's get you developed. And so I'm not going to give you a whole lot of direction. I kind of want you guys to figure this out on your own. Usually I kind of look at this as, if my people are very talented, if they're skilled, if they're showing me, initiative, they're showing me a want and a drive to do whatever I need them to do, I can kind of use this style a little bit more. If they're a shithead and they're always messing stuff up, I'm going to use a different style with that person.
That makes perfect sense. I did that with my kid. I'm like, maybe if you do the dishes now, you have freedom for the rest of the night. Sometimes she'll do them immediately. Sometimes she has to do them at 10 o'clock at night before she's has to go to bed. Her choice.
Right. Yeah, I like natural consequences.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So yeah, you're trying to get the people to tap into their own abilities to accomplish whatever that task, whatever that vision, goal, whatever that is. So that one's, I like that. I use coaching a lot with driven and talented people.
Well, you're going to touch base on the coaching. I would assume pretty soon, if not already. It's like teaching a kid to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Most kids want to learn how to ride a bike. They see other kids riding a bike. It's like, oh, this is great. So you pretty much show your kid the mechanics of how to ride a bike, the pedaling and balancing and all that stuff. And then once they actually get it, you kind of like give them a little nudge and then you let go. You're like, hey, look, you're riding on your own. And then they look and they're so proud, and then they hit the mailbox.
And then or they fall over on the concrete and skin their knee or something.
Well,
Dad, why'd you let go? Because you got to do this on your own, bud.
Yeah, but it's a valuable lesson learned. I lean too much to the left. I lean too much to the right. I got to balance.
Yep. It's giving those people a little enough rope to kind of mess up and hang themselves with, so to speak, but not in a dire situation where they're going to actually hurt themselves.
But being a coaching, being a leader, you want everyone to succeed. So that's how you kind of do it. You push the bird out the nest.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one, because if you guys have noticed a theme here, that we are going on a spectrum from task-oriented to people-oriented, right? There's this nice spectrum here. So in case you guys haven't caught that, just giving you a heads up. So the next one, more people-oriented, would be affiliative. The people are coming first. This is that style that gets up and close and personal with people. You want to know, hey man, hey person, how was your weekend? How are you doing? How's the wife? How's the kids? Oh, Billy's sick? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is that going to affect your process here? Do I need to help you solve this problem so you can be better at producing widgets?
Yeah, this is a perfect one that opens a relationship with your team, with your core group. You want to kind of establish an open relationship so they can always come to you with like different scenarios, not necessarily personal problems, but different scenarios in the work area, because you don't want your people hiding stuff from you. Like, I didn't do my TPS reports. Okay, let's work with that instead of like chewing their head off about it.
Right. Hey, I didn't do payroll. Oh, why did you not do payroll? Oh, I didn't know how to do payroll. You've been at the company for 10 years. What? Let's figure this out. Why don't you know how to do payroll? Let's figure out if there's a personal reason for this or whatever. The ultimate goal of this style is to basically connect and create relationships and harmony within whatever team you're in. Usually, a lot of people will do this. I consider these guys facilitators more than leaders, because your whole goal is to create relationships within that team. It's usually used around icebreakers. You know, you get those icebreakers that hey, this is a new team. Let's get everybody to know. I'm Joe from accounting, or I'm Susan from HR, or I'm Billy from IT, or whatever the case is. You know, you're trying to get everybody to get to know each other. You're trying to connect everybody as a team. You guys want to connect with the team more than accomplish that goal, that vision, that widget, whatever that process is.
By this point, I think you used the word facilitate. By this point, you're trying to facilitate growth. You want to facilitate growth amongst everyone that you're leading over.
Right.
So that's the whole point of it, is to facilitate that growth amongst a group to make them better as a whole. You mentioned before, it's like training someone to be your replacement. This is that stage where you want to have that open communication, so where you can mend, problem areas.
Right. It's that, hey, boss, I didn't do the report because my wife called me and she got into an auto accident. Oh, huh. Well, do you need time off? Is she okay? Like, you're starting to, like, let's, okay, hey, whatever. Or, hey, man, or person or female or whatever the case is. Hey, individual, I noticed that you are not submitting this on time. Is there anything wrong there? Is there anything I should be concerned about? Tell me what's up. Talk to me. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, a good reference. I guess if I had to put it in Dice Dummy terms, it's like the mother of a neighborhood.
Yeah,
you have that one friend that has the mom that's like everyone's mom. You're like, hey, Timmy, what seems to be the problem? Well, my dad won't take the training wheels off my bike. Oh, have you talked to your dad? Can you ride a bike without training wheels? You're just showing compassion so you can get down and peel that onion back to find out what's really going on.
Yeah, I've used this style when I have two people that don't like each other on a team, and usually I kind of come down, depending on the situation, I'll set them down. Hey, what is your beef? Okay, you give me your side of the story. All right, now pause. Now you give me your side of the story. All right, now let's come together. Oh, I don't like it when he doesn't take out the trash. Well, I took out the trash for 3 weeks while he was on leave, and so now I'm just letting him catch up. Oh, okay, so this is a miscommunication thing, a perceived injustice. I don't care who takes out the trash as long as it gets taken out. If you guys can work this out, it's better for everybody, and let's come together as a team just to take the trash out.
Yeah. Majority of the time, I can't say majority of the time. I can say some of the time that I have dealt with the same situation, it has led to a lack of communication, or a communication of different lifestyles.
Yep.
Like some cultures or whatever, they talk at like my kid's ballet teacher, and when she asked like, why weren't you at ballet? That was a horrible impression of her, but she would like, why wasn't you at ballet? When in all actuality, if it was you and I, we'd be like, hey, I noticed you wasn't at ballet last week. I'm just curious to why you wasn't at ballet last week. Was
everything okay?
Yeah. But the way she said it, it comes off as like she's angry that you wasn't at ballet, when that's not at all the case. But if I know if I didn't know the communication and all the cultural differences in the way she was brought up, the way she speaks, English is definitely not her first language, so it could come off as like, oh man, she's so hateful.
Yeah.
No, she's actually not hateful. She's very concerned.
She's just, and that's the thing. That's something as a leader, you guys, that everyone should be aware of on their team. If there's cultural differences, you need to be aware of that sort of stuff, because that creates a huge impact on other stuff. Some people, some cultures, I have people on my team that they don't care about the job until they have communicated with everybody on their team, asked them how their weekend was, got into their personal stuff. They don't care about the task until that happens. And then I have other people that are like, I just want to get the task done, and then we can worry about what I did on the weekend and what bar I went to and how drunk I got and the chick I smashed or whatever whatever the case happens to be. I mean, I work with a lot of like 21 to 24-year-olds, so that's they're male, so that's what they tend to be concerned about. So, it's just one of those things where they kind of tend to argue, and I'm like, look, guys, just talk to them. You can work while your hands, you can talk while your hands are moving, but if you do this together, it makes it all better. It just eases everything. All right, so the last common style of leadership is probably the one that irks me the most. It's useful in certain situations. I have the biggest issue personally, and I know I do. I know it's a weakness for me of implementing this, but it is called laissez-faire. Is French. Laissez-faire, Laissezfaire, laissez-faire, and it is basically an uninvolved leader.
I've witnessed these type leaders, and to me, it comes down to laziness.
Yep.
I don't want to deal with it.
Right. Now, that being said, I will say that it does have its uses. If I have a team that somehow is more knowledgeable than me, right? If I'm leading a team of engineers on a problem and I don't know that system, but I have to lead this team, I'm going to tell them what the problem is, and then I'm going to get the hell out their way. You guys just keep me involved, keep me informed, but I'm not going to be involved in your internal team dynamic. I need to know what your problem is. I would say that's also laissez-faire.
Yeah. By all means, if I'm new to the group and they're a group of plumbers and I'm an electrician, by all means, I'm not going to go be authoritative. I'm not really going to be affiliative, because I really don't know my people yet. I'm kind of new to the whole game. I just have to trust that these plumbers of equal, 50 years of experience between everyone, that I have to assume that they are the ones. I don't want to assume. Assume is not the right word. I have to trust. I have to trust that these experts in plumbing know more about plumbing than I do as an electrician.
Right. So usually this leader will give basically no direction, and they'll just trust that the people know what to do and how to do it, and they'll make the mission happen. I tend to use this. So this leader, they may not even be involved in the team, but this style kind of, in my opinion, it's only going to work if you're leading a highly motivated and knowledgeable team. If they're highly motivated but they're not knowledgeable, you ain't getting anywhere. They're just gonna go around in a circle. It's like a monkey beating on a fucking nuclear warhead with a wrench. You know what I mean? Like they may be motivated to do something, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. You know? So, and you also got to make sure that you provide regular feedback, and you got to monitor performance, because otherwise you're not a leader. So if you're not getting feedback and you're not monitoring performance and making sure that they're hitting their milestones, then, you know, really, what are you doing? And I kind of like, you know, I liken this to Crush from Finding Nemo.
Choo.
Yeah. All right, dude.
It's kind of like Crush when he was teaching Squirt how to, was the stream, what was that stream called? The EAC?
Yeah.
Whatever the stream. I'm sorry, I haven't seen Finding Nemo in a long time. But Nemo's dad was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And he was like, "You got to let him do what he's got to do."
Yeah.
I'm a horrible Finding Nemo person, but you know what I'm saying. He just kind of pushed him out and let him swim in the EA stream himself to figure it out. And oh, look at that. He did it like a champ.
Right, and that's great. If you know, again, if you know, if you have a highly motivated team that is intelligent and can figure this out. Like if you have a person who's just, man, are they dumb, or they just don't get it, this style is not going to work.
Yeah,
I've had those people.
You can't let them loose.
Right, yeah. If you have a highly motivated team and they're intelligent and they can figure stuff out, sure, you can kind of like reel back a little bit. But if they're just, you know, if they're just dumb, I'm going to call the baby ugly. I'm calling it what it is. If they're just dumb, the style's not going to work, and you're going to have more heartache than anything.
As you mentioned earlier, if you paid attention to how each of these leadership levels went, styles are effective as you was using them, as you go down the list. By the time you reach the final, was it laissez-faire? By the time you reach that, if you did everything properly, you should have a team that's highly motivated and a very knowledgeable team, if you follow each step all the way down. But it's kind of hard to say, because that means you have to have the same group of people or team that you have been leading for quite some time to go through each of these levels. So, I mean, you can't just go from authoritative to laissez-faire. It's not going to work.
No, and I would also say that these styles of leadership are also very, very situationally based. You know, if you're getting into a situation where you're like, man, these people are not doing what they're supposed to do, switch up your leadership style. Change it up to a more task-oriented leadership style. If they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, and you can kind of let go of the reins a little bit, focus on other priorities, do that. Switch up your leadership style. Back off a little bit. Give them a little bit more space. Focus on them as people. You know, maybe go to laissez-faire for a little bit, you know, and then come back and re-engage and be coaching again. You don't have to sit there and go step by step by step by step by step by step. You can sit there and go, hey man, this situation or this area of the project requires me to be this kind of leader, or hey, this team is more knowledgeable. We've done this process in the past. I can be more laissez-faire. I can be more affiliative. I can be more coaching. I don't have to worry about this as much. You know, so I would, you know, don't sit there and think of this as a step-by-step process. These are just coaching. These are leadership styles that you should be able to flow in and out of. I don't want to say with ease, but eventually hopefully with ease, but, you know, hopefully you'll be able to sit there and figure out, you know, what the situation is and what that requires from you.
Yeah, as we mentioned near the beginning of our leadership portion, I said we're going to bring this back full circle, and you nailed it. I mean, you don't have to stick to a certain type. It's I call it a situational leader concept. So depending on the situation, is what kind of leader you need to be at that time. You need to focus on the situation at hand. Is it a tasking project that has to get done? Then maybe, like he's saying, we need to jump back to authoritative. If it's something that's just willy-nilly, then okay, go laissez-faire, see where it goes. I mean, it's all situational. And each person that you are leading is also going to call for a different type of leadership style.
Right.
Like if I was leading you, I would probably be a little more laissez-faire because I know whatever task we're doing and you have the knowledge of the task, I don't need to babysit you. I know it's going to get accomplished. But if I have a new guy that just walked in the building from college or high school or whatever, like I'm going to have to, be a little authoritative. I'm going to have to say, hey, let me show you something, or you will do this because I said so type situation, until they actually, pick up what I'm putting down.
Right. And that's, it's something that as leaders, you have to learn to develop a sixth sense of these different type of styles, because you got to sit there and be able to go, okay, I get this. You're new. You're straight out of high school with like no skills. Let me show you how to do stuff. Then after a year or two, I can sit there and of you proving yourself to me, I can sit there and take a step back and be a little bit more democratic and approach you and your cohorts about, hey, let's be democratic. Hey, let me be a more coaching kind of person. Hey, have you guys considered this? Have you guys, whatever.
And I hate to beat a dead horse, but I'm gonna cycle back to, it's more about developing a positive attitude, transmitting it to your team, to others, to encourage them to reach a common goal. That's all this leadership is about. Pushing your kid on the bicycle. Your common goal is your kid wants to learn how to ride a bike. You want to teach them how to ride a bike, and lo and behold, I'll be damned, they learn how to ride a bike. So, goal accomplished.
So at the beginning of this leadership segment, we stated that a leader has nothing to do with your stature or hierarchy. It's more about developing a positive attitude, right? So we said, they don't have anything to do with your stature or hierarchy. So it's contrary to popular belief that your leader does not have a role over your stature or your hierarchy, because that leader uses these different types of leadership styles. And so that may be something as a leader you shouldn't, sit there and worry about, well, this is my number 2, this is my number 3, this is my number 4, this is my number 5. Maybe you should sit there and think about them as, undeveloped talent, and you need to worry about this leadership style. Or maybe they're all really good and you can't pick a number 2. And so you kind of just step back and let it be laissez-faire. And if you're that person that says, hey, my boss doesn't have us structured right, well, maybe you should try leading, because I'm the team leader and, whatever X, Y, and Z. Maybe you should sit there and back up a second and make sure you're not missing the forest because of the trees, and actually take a step back. And my favorite analogy that you gave me, maybe take a step back and assess the situation, coach. Assess it.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what in the actual world do you need to do? Because if you are doing something that you actually don't need to do, you're just pissing people off, most likely.
Yeah, you're gonna was that foster mutiny?
Mm-hmm. I've had people.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, I've had people. So I've come into a situation, actually just recently, where I had 2 people leading my team, or leading a team, I should say. And I came in and they said, hey, this is now your team, you go forth and conquer. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I know the individuals on this team already. We've worked together in the past, and they tell me always, every single time, man, this is a night and day difference from person X. And I'm genuinely interested in feedback. And I go, well, what do you mean by that? Well, these people were calling me every 5 minutes for an update. Like, if you look at the phone log, I was getting a phone call every 5 to 10 minutes asking for an update, asking if I did this, asking if I did that. And you don't do that. You just say, hey, this is what needs to get done. And you trust us to get stuff done until we mess up. And then you worry about what we're doing every 5 minutes. I'm like, well, yeah, because I know you guys. If I didn't know you, I'm going to be out there a little bit more and watching you guys a little bit closer.
Rightfully so. Because if you're leading the two teams, you're kind of like in the hierarchy position to where you oversee those two teams. Of course, you want to see what's really going on, but if you know your people got a good handle on it, then why milk a dead cow?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where, and that's something that I've had to, I try to coach everybody, but without the knowledge and without the ability to actually acknowledge that you may be messing up, without the ability to say, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that, or take that feedback to heart, you're just going to keep doing the same thing, and you're going to end up pissing your high performers off, and you're going to keep letting your low performers slide by because you're not letting them fail and then holding them accountable.
Right. And then you might find yourself reverting back to an autocratic or authoritative, which,
right.
Majority of us don't want to do. I don't want to be that guy that says, you will do this. Do as I say. Do it now. I don't want to be that guy.
No.
Not all the time. Sometimes it is warranted, but not all the time.
Right. And it takes a lot more energy from me to be that kind of person. That's not my natural style. I tend to be a little bit more trusting of people. I know my leadership style that I fit into, probably the easiest that I flow into, is probably going to be along the lines of coaching and affiliative. I care about the people. I want to know what's going on with them. I want to make sure that they have everything they need to succeed. And then if they go out and do something and I see something's wrong, and I go, hey, what's going on with X? And they're like, oh, well, I was just getting to it. And I'm like, well, have you considered splitting this team up and getting both those tasks accomplished at once? Oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, got it. Learning moment. Let's talk about it. And that's usually kind of where I fall into. And that's good and bad, because I have people that I need to be authoritative with or pace setting with. And those people tend to let me down, and I get frustrated because it just takes more energy, because I'm not naturally predisposed to be that kind of leader.
All right, I can see that. If I had to pick for myself, I would say more affiliative first, then democratic, and then which leads me to coaching.
Right.
But if I had to pick two, I would say affiliative and then democratic.
Yeah, and that's, again, there's nothing wrong with it. These styles, as you learn them and flow through them, you will find what works and what doesn't work for each individual person. But a word of caution: if you try to do a style that is not your natural style, I personally have tended to find, and I'm sure that you have, that it takes more out of me to do that. Whether it's mentally draining because I'm the kind of person that pings a lot and I want to know everything that's going on at every single minute and everybody's that's doing stuff, and like a micromanager. If you're that kind of person and you're trying to be a coaching or affiliative, it's going to take more energy for you to take that step back, because you're going to have to fight your natural instinct, versus me, who I that's where I just tend to gravitate towards.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. If you're trying to be something you're not, it's not going to work out. It's not going to come off as genuine. You probably get laughed at. It's just, you have to find your style, work with it, find your mentor, and just move forward. Just learn the different ways, learn your path, and figure out what's the best leadership style for you to move with. There's no technically wrong one, but there's some that's going to work a whole lot better than others.
Right. And like I've said a million times, I think already, that everything is different. Every situation is different. So even if you are required by that situation to be something that you're not, you're going to find out that it's going to take more energy from you. That may be the right leadership style for that moment. It may be the 100% right leadership style. But man, it's just going to go, you're going to be worn down after it, because you're going to go, oh, I just want to do X, or I want to know what's going on every single time, but I got to step back and I got to be affiliative because this person they care more about the me knowing them as a person than the task, and I gotta respect that because they're good or whatever. It takes energy out of you, and that can be very trying for sure.
Right. I am actually in the final third of my cigar.
Yeah, me too.
I hit the rope, and it's really giving a nice little flavor profile of cinnamon mixed with the leather, and with a back end flavor of that cocoa. So it's turning out very well. It's like hot chocolate with cinnamon in it.
Ooh, cinnamon. Or as my 4-year-old says, minimum.
Well, I'm getting minimum from the rope band here.
It's the cutest dang thing, but I correct him every single time because I don't want him to be that 14-year-old still saying minimum. It's cute now because he's 4, but eventually he's gonna grow up and people are gonna be like, "Why are you saying minimum? That's how you say it, right?" No, it's like Paschetti. Like, no, dude, it's spaghetti. Like, don't be that loser.
Yeah,
this still says Paschetti.
Cute things. When I get old, my kid is older, so every now and again she'll use some of her old childish things that she's like Q pepper for cucumber.
Yeah.
Flutterby for butterfly. It's cute now, but I'm almost the same way. It's like, I don't want you being a grown ass person saying flutterby.
Right. But and it's all well and good. Please find the style that works for you guys the best. Assess that situation, figure out what leadership style works the best. As far as my last third, I had to relight a little bit throughout this, but take a final puff. I'm getting leather mixed with a little bit of pepper and maybe a little bit of earthiness. It's good. I don't want to say cedar because the pepper and the earthy make me think cedar, but it's not cedar.
How is it pairing with your
with my bourbon?
Your bourbon.
It's a bourbon whiskey is what it literally says on the bottle. It says bourbon whiskey. So, hate me all you want. But it's good. The smoky peatiness of this whiskey is giving that nice almost bitterness. That's kind of helping bring out some of those smoother flavors of the cigar, which is really nice. I enjoy a good bourbon.
I kind of wish my Hennessy, I wish I had it neat. I think if it was neat, it would paired better. But because I add the orange in it, the orange is kind of throwing it off. I added orange liqueur. And anybody knows how to make a sidecar, you use orange liqueur and cognac with some lemon juice. The citrus is not playing nice with the cocoa and cinnamon. Whereas if I didn't have those, I would have just more of a caramelly floral note from the Hennessy.
Right.
And I think that floral note would like hit with the cinnamon and the cocoa and a little slight leather. I think it would cause it to like bam, baby. But by all means, live and learn. Right?
Hopefully you bought 2, and this is why we recommend keeping a cigar journal, because then you can figure out what pairs and what does not pair with different cigars.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna write in it.
There you go. All right. Well, I think we have gone over these 7 different leadership styles. I think we beat the dead horse as much as we can beat it. We've gone over the autocratic, the authoritative, the pace setting, democratic, coaching, affiliative, and laissez-faire different styles. And I think, it's about just the situation. And before that, we talked about the health benefits of cigars, which is kind of an oxymoron in some aspects of that word, health benefits, right? But it's very much an aspect that I think gets overlooked a lot by people and the FDA. Will constantly try to put tobacco under one umbrella when, in my opinion, premium cigars are under their own umbrella versus if you look at something like Swisher Sweets, Black and Milds, Marlboro cigarettes, or even pipe tobacco. Those are different than a premium hand-rolled cigar, in my eyes. But of course, the FDA does not think of it that way. It's all tobacco is all tobacco. But that's okay. But this has been Leadership of the Leaf. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button so you guys can know when new episodes drop. We do put out all these bonus episodes, just like our St. Patrick's Day episode that we recently did, which we had a blast doing, talking about everything green, and smoking our Candela wrapped cigars. Those were always fun, and we hope you enjoyed it. I'm Austin, and I just want to remind everybody not to be that asshole.
Hey, if you're listening to this and you actually enjoy it, I hope you do enjoy it. Get something from it. Share it. Tell some friends. Get some more people listening to it. I like to think we're providing solid information. If there's something you want us to touch base on, by all means, hit us up on Instagram, or you can go to our website.
splume.wixsite.com/LOTL.
Best way to do it is just go to Instagram. Our link is in the bio of Instagram, Leadership of the Leaf on Instagram. You can see pictures. You can see what episodes is coming up. Just remember that there's no such thing as a bad cigar. There's just better ones out there.
Absolutely. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. The comments and opinions expressed by the host and guests does not reflect the opinions of those that broadcast this show, nor does it reflect any of our affiliates.